My name is Gary Blake, and today we're going to learn how to use Adobe Rush to take your phone videos to the next level. We're all intro. It's Sunday here in Maui, Hawaii. This is Gary.Raw with that explosive energy. Hey everybody, it's Gary Blake here. It's Sunday here in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Look how fancy that is. That's pretty fancy. Fantastic. And I'm going to shoot a video today. What's up everybody, it's Gary Blake here. Alright, perfect. So now that we have everything we need to go, we only need is our phone and the application Adobe Rush. Now, the only reason why I use Adobe Rush over any of the other apps is that I have access from everything from my Creative Cloud. When it comes to my tablet, it comes to my laptop, I have access to all the files on here. So let's go ahead and open this up really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and start screen recording this so that way you can kind of see everything. So let's go ahead and open Premiere Rush. Now I already have everything kind of already set in place right now. So let's see here, let's actually go here, hit add media, go to videos, and then from there what you're gonna go ahead and do is you're gonna go get that. So once we have our video in here, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of see, we're gonna play around with it. Normally, this looks pretty good. This is kind of like a video I took in the cooler area of Hawaii. So you can kind of scrub through, you can kind of see in real time what it looks like. You wanna make sure that it's nice and steady, so it looks like it's pretty steady. The colors look pretty great, but what we are gonna do here is kind of enhance it. So we're gonna go to, you can kind of see at the bottom, titles, color, speed, things like that. But what I like to go ahead and do is I like to make sure that I mute the clip. More often times just because I just don't like how the audio gets recorded on your phone. So typically I like to redesign the scene in your phone, and you can do it in a number of ways. But we're only gonna focus in on the color, and that's all we're gonna focus on is the color, and maybe add some music in there too. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go back and we're gonna go ahead and hit color. Now they have a number of options here at the bottom that you can kind of try. So you have like, let's say you have Fuji. Fuji's like one of my favorites. But notice like in the shadows, it's kind of like gray, but then you have bleach, you have Kodak, which is great. You have film, you have cinematic, which is a little very contrasted. And then you have nothing. You have absolutely a flat profile here with your video from your phone. Now presets here, these are presets that I've developed, so you have a better green. This kind of brings out the greens and a little bit of the blues, but it's a little bit more contrasted. And then I call warm beach. It has like a nice warm filter. It has a little bit of a desaturation on the blues and the greens. But we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna put none for now because I kind of want to show you how to use these tools at the bottom to really bring out your video. So you can kind of, I like to scrub through and kind of find a spot where all of my colors are being used, or like maybe even this spot right here, because then later when I come back to this spot, it's gonna do it through continuously of the video. Now, if you wanted to only do it in certain parts, I'll show you how to do that in a minute, but I like to scrub through and find a continuous spot where the color is about the same. So then, or I'm utilizing all of the colors. So from here, I may bring up my shadows just a little bit. And you notice when you bring up shadows in video, it tends to look slightly gray. So then sometimes I like to go and then bring down the highlights as well. And it brings it a little flat, and that's for good reason. And then, if you kind of bring up the temperature, I like to make it a little warm. And then the vibrance a little bit. And then when I go ahead and I put some artificial contrast in there, and you can kind of already see a difference. You can kind of already see a difference in what's going on in your video as well. So you can kind of scrub through and kind of see that it's a little bit warmer than our previous part, but then we can go ahead, you can even have a faded film look. You can have your saturation bump up a little bit, so it is a little bit warmer than what we had previous. So then I like to scrub through. So like, let's say you scrub through and you find that this is great, but you don't want the colors to be the same throughout. So you can go ahead and you can come back and you can kind of go ahead and hit this scissor tool. And what's gonna do is, as long as you have this selected, everything that's in the orange box is gonna be necessarily something that is selected and you are playing with. So let's say if I scrub through a little bit there too, and I go ahead and hit this, so then let's say from here, I want this to have more of my better, warmer beach colors in there. So then I'll go to my preset, warm beach, and I'll hit that. Now normally when you play through it, this is what's gonna play through. So then you'll play through and then you'll see the colors change really quick. So automatically off the bat, I kind of see it go even warmer than it was before. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll go back and I'll go into transitions, and then I'll go ahead and hit cross dissolve. Now you can use any of the transitions in here, like there's a dip to black and there's a dip to white. But I like the cross dissolve because it kind of smooths it, and when your brain looks at it, it's not as jarring as looking at the other colors just rapidly switch. So if we look again, kind of play it through really quick, and then you just see it like slowly warmer, slowly cooler, things like that. But we're actually gonna go ahead, I just wanted to show you how it clicks, so we're just gonna go ahead and hit undo. You can kind of hit this little top button up at the top, and you can kind of undo the cuts. And then from there, it's one cohesive video again. I like to keep it a cohesive video unless I'm using multiple clips. From there, I can kind of put them together. So let's do that now. Let's maybe even add another clip in there. So we can go ahead and hit this little plus button at the bottom left of the corner. So you can go ahead and hit plus, hit media, and then from there we can go back into our videos again. And then we can kind of pick, let's pick this one. And then from there, it's gonna go ahead and prepare it for us. And then it's gonna add that media in there. And again, just for the sake of it, I like to mute everything. So for me, I like to mute everything and start from scratch. So necessarily, then I'll go back in, maybe I don't like this part, so then I click that. And then I go ahead and see it's in yellow again, so that, or in orange. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this little trash can icon, and that just deletes the clip. So then that from there, I just know this is cohesive, so I'm just gonna go really quick. I know where this video is at. So you can kind of already see that there's some subtle changes. So then again, transition, cross dissolve, and boom. So see, now already like our video looks dynamic, it looks better for Instagram, and it looks so much cleaner than it did before. But what we're gonna go ahead and do here is we're gonna go ahead and delete that, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add some music. So again, we're gonna hit this little bottom, and we're gonna go ahead and hit media. We're gonna go back, and then my music files are I usually use Dropbox, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go music. And then from there, I use Epidemic Sound for all of these, so all of these I can definitely use. So let's use this one. And then you can kind of see it loads it after the playhead. So if you just click and drag, you can kind of already see that you can have it play at a certain moment too. So since I have the cross dissolve, and then it'll play. So watch, it'll play. And then a little bit more upbeat. And then it's already more dynamic, right? So then not only that, but you don't have to fish for music in Instagram. So oftentimes too, I'll go ahead and click this little button at the top. Notice where it says like that little play arrow with that arrow, it brings you to the last frame of your video. So you can go ahead and hit this bottom, make sure your music is highlighted in that orange box, and then go ahead and hit that scissor button, and then see that next orange box, go ahead and hit that trash can button. So now you don't have all of that excess music files that we're gonna necessarily put into your video. So then now, if you really wanted to add audio fades, and this is gonna make the transitions more professional, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna select your audio, and then you're gonna go into transitions, and the only transition you're gonna select is cross dissolve. So then cross dissolve, watch, it's just gonna fade it in nice for you. So then after that, it does its in phase, you got nice vibrant colors from your phone, and you got a little music track in there. So then after that, I like it, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make sure, one more thing too, you can play with the speed and the transform. So let's say if I really wanted to make sure that I had more for my image, or I wanted to really punch into the center, I just click the image itself, I literally tap the video, and then I can go ahead and just, with my fingers, 2 fingers, just kind of slide in a little bit, and then you can just go ahead and play. So notice it's like a little bit more cropped in, so like maybe you saw my thumb or something. There you go. So I'm gonna go ahead and move it back because I actually really like how wide it was. So I'm gonna move it back. Notice that this little guide work will help me and let me know if I'm too out. So notice it's very centered. So if you wanted to add a border, you could add a border to that as well. So I'm gonna hit the undo button, again. We're back to that, and that little frame of reference. Let's go like that, perfect. So we're gonna hit this little button at the top with the little box with the up arrow on it. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that. We're gonna go ahead and make sure our quality settings, I always like to make sure that we're matching the frame rate to what the video is actually shot. So this is a little bit more technical, but not everybody has to follow this. You can definitely follow the automatic settings and you'll get the same kind of effect, but I'm a little particular, so I like to match it with the 1080 frame rate. And then I go ahead and export. Don't close it, just let it watch. If it takes a long time, I like to set it down in a place where nobody's gonna touch it and just let it ride, and then it's saved to my camera roll. So then from there, I can go ahead and hit done, and then you're all set. You're perfect. So that's how you create videos and videos for Instagram or anything like that. I added them straight to my phone. They're saved to my phone, and on top of that too, they're saved to my Creative Cloud. So again, if you found this video helpful, please like or comment at the bottom as to what you found helpful, or any videos that you might want to see in the future. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.